There is something powerful about absence, something magnetic about distance, something irresistible about what we can't fully have. And when it comes to attraction, desire, and emotional pull, the way you create that absence determines whether someone chases you or forgets you. Most people believe that to make someone miss you, you have to give more, do more, show up more. But the truth is, it's not in the more that they start to feel your presence when you're gone. It's in the right kind of silence, in the right kind of pullback, in the right kind of mystery. Let's talk about how you can make her miss you badly, even if right now she's not interested. Because this is not about tricks, it's not about manipulation, and it's not about begging for attention. It's about rewiring the way she sees you, the way she thinks about you, and the way her emotions respond to your presence, and more importantly, to your absence. Attraction is a game of psychology. The human mind always desires what it cannot fully hold. It values what feels scarce and overlooks what is always available. Think about it. The more easily someone has access to you, the less they feel the need to crave you. The more predictable you are, the less curiosity you spark. And if you're always there at her fingertips, she has no reason to wonder about you, no reason to dream about you, no reason to miss you. The first step in making her miss you is to master the art of emotional withdrawal. Now, emotional withdrawal doesn't mean cutting her off cold or disappearing out of bitterness. It's about shifting your energy. It's about no longer feeding into her indifference with your constant attention. If she's not interested, it's likely because she doesn't feel the emotional gap. She doesn't feel the need for you because you've been supplying yourself too freely. When you stop doing that, when you create a vacuum, a gap, her mind begins to notice your absence. And the human mind always fills gaps with thoughts, questions, and emotions. Imagine this: you've been texting her every morning, always available, always replying instantly. You think consistency will win her over, but in her mind, you've become background noise. Now stop doing that. Suddenly her brain notices a silence where you once existed. Suddenly she wonders, why hasn't he messaged? Did he lose interest? Did something happen? And those small thoughts grow into curiosity. Curiosity grows into attention. Attention grows into desire. And desire creates longing. But here's where many go wrong. They think distance alone is enough. They pull back, but they don't leave behind a strong impression to make that distance felt. And so, when they disappear, they're simply forgotten. If you want her to miss you, you must first give her something worth missing. What is it that people truly miss? They don't miss the routine good morning texts. They don't miss bland conversations. They miss experiences. They miss emotions. They miss the way someone made them feel in moments that stood out. So if you want her to crave your absence, you must create a presence that's unforgettable. That means when you interact with her, you leave an emotional fingerprint. Instead of dull small talk, you spark conversations that make her laugh unexpectedly, or think deeply, or feel seen in a way no one else does. Instead of acting needy, you become the person who brings excitement, mystery, and a challenge into her world. That way, when you step back, it's not your words she misses. It's the way she felt when she was around you. Now let's talk about mystery. Nothing kills desire faster than predictability. When she knows exactly what you'll say, what you'll do, how you'll react, there's no excitement left. Mystery is not about being secretive. It's about being layered. It's about not giving everything away at once. It's about letting her discover you piece by piece and leaving space for her imagination to do the rest. If every time you talk, you drop little hints of your ambitions, your lifestyle, your inner thoughts, but never fully reveal them, you give her mind something to chew on. And when you're not around, her brain keeps replaying those fragments, trying to piece them together. That's when she misses you, not because of who you are on the surface, but because of the endless possibilities she imagines about you. Scarcity is another powerful principle. The things we value most are the things we can't easily have. You've seen it in luxury goods, in rare experiences, in limited opportunities. The same principle applies in attraction. If you're always available at her call, she doesn't see you as scarce. But when your time, your attention, and your energy are given selectively, when you choose to give it, not out of desperation, but out of self-control, she begins to value it more. She begins to realize it's not guaranteed, and what's not guaranteed becomes precious. There is also the art of contrast. People only feel your presence when they felt your absence. If you're always around, she never gets to feel what life is like without you. But if you appear with impact, create moments of laughter, connection, or intrigue, and then vanish into your own world, you create contrast. That contrast makes her realize the difference between her life with you and her life without you. And the more she feels that gap, the more she begins to miss what you bring. Another key is to stop trying to convince her. When someone isn't interested, the natural instinct is to prove yourself, to chase harder, to show why you're worth it. But convincing energy only pushes people further away. It screams desperation. It screams, I need you to validate me. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. Instead, step into your own power. Focus on your own growth, your passions, your ambitions. Show her, not with words, but with actions, that your life is full, exciting, and meaningful without her. That shift changes the dynamic. Because now, instead of you chasing her, she finds herself wondering why she's not part of your world. That wonder turns into curiosity. That curiosity turns into desire. Absence works best when paired with presence. When you do interact, make it count. When you step away, let her feel the silence. But don't disappear into emptiness. Build yourself. Elevate your lifestyle. Become the man she never thought you could be. Because when she notices you thriving in her absence, when she sees your glow, your confidence, your energy rising without her, she will question herself. She will wonder what she overlooked. She will begin to miss what she never fully had. And here is a truth many avoid. Sometimes she doesn't miss you because there's nothing about you she's afraid of losing. If you're ordinary, replaceable, predictable, why would she crave you? You must become unforgettable. Not by faking, not by pretending, but by unlocking the version of yourself that carries confidence, mystery, ambition, and emotional depth. Be the man who brings something rare to the table. Because women don't miss men who are common. They miss men who are uncommon, who spark emotions others can't, who create experiences others don't, who hold themselves with value others don't recognize in themselves. And yes, she might not be interested now, but interest is not fixed. Desire is fluid. Feelings change when the context changes. When you stop being the man who chases and start being the man who attracts, the dynamic shifts. When you create absence with intention, she begins to feel the weight of your silence. When you craft presence with impact, she begins to crave the moments you're not around. When you balance mystery with authenticity, she begins to think of you long after the conversation ends. The psychology is simple but powerful. Humans are wired to chase what pulls away, to desire what they can't fully grasp, to value what feels scarce, and to miss what made them feel alive. If you can master these principles, not through manipulation, but through self-awareness and control, you can make her miss you badly, even if right now she doesn't see you that way. At the end of the day, making her miss you is not about games. It's about reclaiming your power, about no longer being the man who begs for attention, but becoming the man whose presence is undeniable and whose absence is felt deeply. Because when you do that, she won't just notice you, she'll long for you. She'll replay you in her mind. She'll wonder about you, crave you, and yes, she will miss you badly. There is something powerful about absence, something magnetic about distance. Something irresistible about what we cannot fully have. Absence has a voice of its own, even in silence. It whispers into the heart, it lingers in the mind, it carves out space that presence cannot always fill. When someone is gone, when their voice no longer fills the air, when their attention no longer wraps itself around you, there is a sudden void. And the human mind cannot help but notice that void. It starts asking questions, it starts building stories, and it starts replaying memories. And in those replays, in those quiet echoes, longing is born. That is the nature of missing someone. It is not loud, it is not forceful, but it is steady, gnawing, and unavoidable. Most people do not realize how attraction works on such a level. They believe that to be desired, to be valued, to be missed, they must always be present, always visible, always in the spotlight. They think consistency of attention equals consistency of importance. But what they fail to see is that the mind is wired differently. The mind grows tired of what it always has. The mind loses interest in what is easily available, and the heart stops longing for what no longer feels rare. It is not in constant presence that we make ourselves unforgettable, but in the delicate balance between being there and then not being there, between showing up with impact and then stepping back with silence. Think of it this way. When you listen to your favorite song on repeat, every day, every hour, at some point, it loses its magic. The melody becomes background noise, the lyrics blur, the rhythm fades into the ordinary. But when you stop listening to it for weeks, even months, and then one day it plays unexpectedly, it hits you differently. It revives memories, it stirs emotions, it feels more powerful than before. Why? Because distance created freshness, absence created desire, silence created longing. The very same song had to disappear for you to feel its value again. That is how people work too. When you are always in someone's face, when you are always available, always predictable, you stop being music, you become noise. But when you step back with grace, when you allow your absence to exist, you become a melody they crave again. Human beings are slaves to curiosity. We are drawn to puzzles we cannot solve, to mysteries that remain unfinished, to stories with missing chapters. If someone has fully revealed themselves, if they have shown every card, if they have left nothing to the imagination, then the mind grows restless and moves on. But when there are unanswered questions, when there are layers hidden beneath layers, when there are glimpses but not the full picture, the mind cannot let go. It keeps coming back, replaying, wondering, imagining. And in that imagination, longing grows. That is why absence is powerful. It leaves room for the imagination to wander, for the heart to ache, for the mind to chase shadows of what it cannot fully touch. Absence is not emptiness. Absence is presence in another form. It is the echo that remains after the voice is gone. It is the warmth you still feel from a touch that no longer lingers. It is the memory of laughter in a room that has grown quiet. The beauty of absence is that it does not erase, it amplifies. It does not silence, it makes the silence louder. It does not kill the connection. It forces the connection to survive through thought, through memory, through imagination. And the more the imagination is engaged, the more powerful the longing becomes. Now imagine this in the realm of attraction. Imagine someone who once had all your attention suddenly withdraws it, not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of control. Imagine the sudden silence where their voice used to be. Imagine the gap where their presence once filled space. The human mind resists that change. It notices the absence because it had once become accustomed to the presence. And so thoughts start creeping in. Why isn't he here? What changed? Did I do something? Has he moved on? Where is he? What is he doing? Who is he with? Those thoughts multiply, and soon curiosity turns into craving. That craving is what we call missing someone. It is born from the shift between presence and absence. But here lies the hidden truth. Absence only has power when presence was meaningful. If there is nothing memorable about your presence, your absence is nothing more than silence. People don't miss what never moved them. They don't crave what never touched them. They don't long for what never made them feel alive. This is why it is not enough to simply disappear and expect to be missed. You must first become someone worth missing. You must first create memories that echo. You must first leave emotional fingerprints that cannot be wiped away. Only then will your absence sting. Only then will your silence echo. Only then will your withdrawal feel like a void. Think back to your own life. Who do you miss most? It is not the people who were always there, predictable and ordinary. It is the ones who brought something different, something rare, something unforgettable. It is the friend who made you laugh until your stomach hurt, and when they left, the silence felt too still. It is the person who believed in you when no one else did, and when they walked away, their absence left a shadow over your days. It is the love who made you feel alive, seen, desired, and when they disappeared, it felt like the world lost some of its color. These are the people absence makes us crave. Not because they vanished, but because their presence mattered. Absence and presence are two sides of the same coin. One without the other loses its meaning. Constant presence makes us invisible, constant absence makes us forgotten. But presence followed by absence, and absence followed by presence, this is the rhythm that creates longing. It is the heartbeat of desire, the echo of memories,